Winter storm warning is in effect throughout central PA. We're taking a live look at Harrisburg, where the snow has been falling since about 8 this morning. This snow's already caused crashes on major roads in our area. Here's a crash that happened earlier this morning. This is along I-81 in Cumberland County. And to monitor conditions, we have live team coverage. We'll be checking in with our crews to see how this storm is progressing. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this special noon newscast. It is a weather warn day here at CBS 21. Stephen, you've been talking about, you're warning us about how sloppy this storm is.
Yeah, and a lot of snow here through the midday hour and really through lunchtime now. As a weather geek, I've been really enjoying this morning. It's been a lot of fun for me. I've been pressing my nose against the window just like everybody else, watching the snow pile up. But yeah, reminder, we still have this winter storm warning that's in effect for all of central Pennsylvania through early tomorrow morning. So we have a ways to go with this storm. Now, the heavy bands of snow that have been coming through here over the last couple of hours still with us. When you see some of this darker blue shading, that indicates some of this heavier snow. Seeing that over the capital region, along Adams County, York County, and then over toward Lancaster County as well. We are seeing some lighter blues out toward Carlisle, out toward Franklin County, so some of those snowfall rates are at least cutting down a little bit. It's this big battle that's going on. We've got the warm air that's trying to push in from the south. You notice if you look south of the Mason-Dixon line, more of a wintry mix or even just plain rain. Eventually enough of that warm air is going to wedge in here. We're going to change this snow over to some sleet, and then I think eventually some freezing rain just in time for about 4 or 5 o'clock. And then all of this eventually winds down as a period of some pretty steady rain overnight tonight and heading into early tomorrow. But I do think a lot of this will wrap up pretty early tomorrow morning. So here's what we can expect moving forward. Heaviest snow continuing here for the next couple of hours. I think we could see an additional 1 to 3 inches of accumulation on top of what you already have out there. Then eventually that snow changes over to a wintry mix from southwest to east, and eventually that mix changing over to plain rain overnight tonight. So weather warn day here for today. But look what happens tomorrow. We get into some gradual clearing, and a lot of this is going to melt away. In fact, even on Friday, we'll have high temperatures that are going to still be into the mid-40s.
And getting and checking in with your roads right now, where we're entering that sloppiest part of the day, and our traffic, our roads are showing it. So our two biggest headaches right now along I-81 southbound, which has been probably the biggest problem for us all day. The first accident right there for you, I-81 south at exit 44. That's the Plainfield exit. If you are continue driving south, the next accident that you're going to hit is at King Street, and that's just outside of Shippensburg. So please be very, very careful, and also be mindful of those restrictions that we have in place out there. That's a look at your CBS 21 traffic alert. And as of just a few minutes ago, more vehicle restrictions are now in effect. Empty, straight CDL weighted trucks, double trailers, tractors, and motorcycles will not be allowed on these roads that you see on your screen. These are just a few of the roads with restrictions. You can find a full list on our website at cbs21.com.
Happening now, police in York County are out in the snow searching for an elderly man. He was last seen in Windsor Township last night. Our Michael Gorsinger is there with the search party. Michael, what's going on?
Well, it's a frantic search right now for 61-year-old Ronald Trout as crews continuing to try and search for him. He's now been missing for the better part of 17 hours. I'm going to step out of the way. You can get an idea of the search that's going on here. Police, fire, and even friends doing their best to search for the missing man. Let's show you a picture of him now. This is 61-year-old Ronald Trout. He's described as 5'7", 215 pounds with grayish-brown short hair, green eyes, and a mustache. He was last seen wearing gray pajama pants and a red, white, and blue Tommy Hilfiger jacket. He suffers from diabetes and may be confused. Now, this was a look at the search that was going on here this morning along Locust Grove Road. He went missing about 6:45 last night. Intense searching been going on for the better part of 15 hours as volunteer firefighters, police officers, and sheriff's deputies combed cornfields and the areas surrounding the home with ATVs and even dogs, but unfortunately, to this point, no such luck. Again, as you look back here live, the search continuing for Ronald Trout. He is last seen, again, about 17 hours ago. So in these conditions, obviously, this is going to be a dire search to try and find him as quickly as possible. Obviously, if you have any information, you're urged to call police. Live in York County, Michael Gorsinger, CBS 21 News.
Thank you, Michael. Well, right now, PennDOT crews are out working on the roads and taking a look at the plow trucks in our area. You can find that information on PA 511. Meanwhile, our Karina Chung is driving around Harrisburg with one of our photographers. I think it's Bill Siders, right, behind the wheel. And Karina keeping an eye on the roads as well. How are things looking where you are?
Hey Sherry, well you are right. Bill's behind the wheel, I'm in the passenger seat, but sloppy is the best way to describe the roads. We're driving down 6th Street in Harrisburg. I'm going to spin you guys around so you can see a little bit about what's going on here. Not a lot of people out on the roadways. I think they're heeding our warnings. They're being very cautious about the roads. You can see there are tire tracks on the roads. It looks like there have been plows coming by, but the snow just keeps on coming down, and the cars that are going on Forster Street right ahead of us, you can see the kickback on those wheels. You can see all of the snow just keep on coming by, but we'll be out on the roads all day and we'll keep you updated with the very latest. Sherry, back to you.
All right, and we know you guys are going to stay safe out there, and our team coverage of this winter storm continues with CBS 21's Chris Nallen live in Carlisle. Chris, how's it looking out there?
Yeah, that's right, Sherry. Right now we're in Carlisle here, right by the Pike and Turnpike. So again, giving an idea here where we're kind of sitting. And I'll tell you, the traffic has been moving pretty good considering these roads are very treacherous. You know, getting closer to them, there's been some openings here, some snow kind of accumulating on the area roads. PennDOT's been all over this. They've been pre-treating, they've treated it. But overall, the concern is now is the snow that continues to fly. It's been very persistent and heavy. The roads coming into here, 81, an absolute mess. But take a look at this. We're talking about a half a foot of snow. You heard that, about 6 inches of snow already here in Carlisle. Could be talking about another few inches on top of that. So impressive snow event before we see that wintry mix. And of course, we're going to have more updates coming up to keep you safe and in the know throughout the newscast. Sending it back to you. We're live in Carlisle. Chris Nallen, CBS 21 News.
We appreciate you being out there to let us know how it is, Chris. And we continue our team coverage in Dauphin County now. CBS 21's Brian Sheehan is in Harrisburg. And Brian, how much snow are you seeing?
Well, Sherry, as we've been telling you, the snow is falling at a pretty good rate here in Harrisburg. These cars here behind me traveling below the speed limit right now, probably a good idea. The speed of the pace of the snow, rather, making it especially difficult for city crews to keep up with the roads. Now, the city tells me that there are 16 trucks spread across 8 different areas in the city trying to keep these roads here clear. There are also some parking restrictions in place. These are along some emergency routes. Now, here's a list of some of them on your screen right now. Some of the busiest roads, of course, affected are Division from Front to 7th Streets and 2nd Street from Paxton to Division. But, of course, there are several others. If you are parked in one of those snow emergency routes, it's probably best to remove your car as soon as possible. The city tells me just moments ago they will be towing cars that are parked in those routes. Live in Harrisburg, I'm Brian Sheehan, CBS 21 News.
All right, thank you, Brian. And you've seen from the looks of our crews out in the field why a number of schools and businesses closed today. There are some delays and cancellations. That information is at the bottom of your screen. You can also stay up to date by listening to any of our partner radio stations listed here or visit our website, cbs21.com. And don't forget, you can track the storm even when we're not on the air. Just download our CBS 21 weather app. It's free, easy to use. All you have to do is search CBS 21 WX in the App Store on your smartphone or tablet. You know, we're not the only ones getting hit by this storm today. People from the Midwest to the Northeast are dealing with snow and rain. We'll tell you which parts of the country have it the worst and what's to come. And let's take it back out live again. This is another live look in Carlisle. It's been snowing there for hours. Steve Knight is continuing to track this system and will bring us the latest. And if you and your family are out having fun today, we'd love to see it. Please share your photo with us. Just visit cbs21.com or use the CBS 21 News app and click Chime In.
And welcome back as our live weather warn day coverage continues. A live look right now. This is in Harrisburg, Dauphin County. This is what you can expect on the roads. Obviously snow cover out there. We have yet to see that changeover to sleet and freezing rain, but that eventually will happen later on this afternoon. Let's show you what we have right now on first warning radar, because we still got some heavier bands of snow that continue to come down at this hour. Any of these spots in here where we see that darker blue, and that continues up toward the capital region and down through York County, that's where we're getting some heavier snowfall rates. Now areas out west through Franklin County, those spots that saw the snow first, You notice that lighter blue. That means those snowfall rates are starting to cut down a little bit, but still pretty healthy dose of snow here through the lunchtime hour before we change things over this afternoon to sleet and then eventually freezing rain and then plain rain overnight tonight. So as we've been telling you, just a big sloppy mess. We continue to advise against travel. Could see an additional 1 to 3 inches of snow before we see that changeover to sleet, freezing rain, and then eventually just plain rain.
Yeah, and this big sloppy mess causing some issues for us this morning now, or this afternoon rather. We're taking you to the east side of the Capital Beltway as you're heading up towards Lebanon, where another major accident's causing some headaches. I-81 northbound at the Granville exit, that's exit 80 as you're making your way into Lebanon. Please avoid the area if you can, as well as the rest of our other major roadways, because travel is quite tricky right now. The red and yellowing that you're seeing on 81 right here, yeah, that's on all of our major roads. So please do not be out there if you do not have to be. That's a look at your CBS 21 traffic alert. And here's a look at a crash that happened earlier today along I-81 on the other side of the Capital Beltway in Cumberland County. Remember to slow down and please drive safely if you must be out there. It is nasty. And PennDOT crews also hard at work making sure that those roads are trying to stay clear for us.
That's right. Spokesperson Fritzy Schreffler joins us live on the phone now with an update on how they're handling this storm. Fritzy, how are your crews doing?
They're doing great. We just had a new crew that came on just about 15 minutes ago, so they will be out for the next 12 hours.
Awesome. And I'm sure the restrictions that were put in place, did that help by keeping a lot of folks off the roads?
It absolutely has. The commercial van vehicles, the van on commercial vehicles, I'm sorry, definitely helped. I drove home mid-morning from Harrisburg, and there was hardly anybody on the road, which was wonderful.
And so, Fritzy, how are you guys combating this? The snow's really starting to fall down heavy right now. So are you putting salting or plowing at a priority right now?
Plowing will be the priority right now, because if you put the salt down, then you're just plowing the salt right back up. But really, it's coming down so fast, and we want to remind people our routes are 36 to 40 miles. So it can take a couple hours till somebody comes back, and at that rate of snowfall, the roads are going to be covered again.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Fritzy. We always appreciate your time. And you know, we're not the only ones getting hit with this winter storm. It's affecting people across the country. The storm has already dumped snow and ice on parts of Missouri and Minnesota. Now, as it heads northeast, parts of New England are bracing for an ice storm that's expected to last through tomorrow. Flights have already started announcing delays and cancellations. Crews are out searching for a missing man in York. And we're going to take a live look at the search party in Windsor Township. We'll have more details on how crews are braving the winter storm to try to find the man. Plus, we're closely tracking the storm as it passes through our area. Steve Knight will be back in a few with more on what to expect. It has been snowing in York County for several hours now, but that's not stopping police from searching for a missing elderly man. CBS 21's Michael Gorsinger live in Windsor Township with more on what's going on. Michael, it's horrible to have to search for an elderly person at any time, but then you add this storm to it.
Yeah, conditions certainly making this search much more difficult and much more dire. It has been snowing for the better part of 4 hours. Probably have about 4 to 5 inches of snow on the ground. Combine that with sub 30-degree temperatures, and you have a tough situation. Crews doing their best, 24 at least out here working with ATVs, dogs, and everything they can get their hands on to try and search for 61-year-old Ronald Trout. Now, Trout went missing last night about 6:45. That search for him has been going on for more than 17 hours, but unfortunately at this point, no luck. Now, crews have been searching some cornfields, doing grid searches, using the dogs as well as ATV to try and find him and quickly as possible, obviously because of these tough conditions. So police want you to know, if you happen to be in this area, this is Locust Grove Road in Windsor Township, you are urged to call police if you have seen this man in any area in which obviously the snow has been falling hard, making this a difficult search. Live in York County, Michael Gorsinger, CBS 21 News.
Thank you, Michael. And the snow's been coming down in Dauphin County as well. Brian Sheehan joins us live from Harrisburg along 6th Street. Brian, you were getting pelted pretty good last time. How you doing?
Yeah, good, Sherry. Trying to stay dry here. The snow's still coming down pretty good. I want to show you the snow right here. My photographer, Frank, can kind of show you. It's that kind of white, fluffy stuff. But if you go over here and take a look at the roads, it's coming down so hard, it's just compacting on the road. So we're seeing cars drive by. Some are going way too fast. It's 35 miles here on 6th Street. Others traveling the speed limit. I actually spoke to a UPS driver a few moments ago. He said the roads are terrible, and he's in a big truck. So it just kind of goes to show you how dangerous it can be out here. But again, road crews are out throughout the city. There's about 16 trucks that are out here trying to take care of the roads. But they're saying if you don't have to be out on the roads, it's best to just kind of stay where you need to be, stay home. There's a car down there just reversing. Not sure what they're doing here, but pretty quiet. It comes and goes. Sometimes we see a lot of cars, other times we don't see the car coming down here right now, moving pretty fast. But that's what's happening live here in Harrisburg. I'm Brian Sheehan, CBS 21 News.
All right, Brian, thank you so much for being out in the elements for us.
And now, CBS 21 News First Warning Weather with meteorologist Steve Knight.
Now we want to take a line back outside. This is what you're going to encounter on those roadways. Yeah, some backed up traffic here. This is Carlisle, Cumberland County. And actually right now I'm being told that we're actually in the Harrisburg area here. Yeah, Harrisburg area. Okay, so we're over on the West Shore right now, and this is what we're looking at in terms of snowfall rates. Now, one thing I am noticing here with this live picture is that the snowfall rate there, at least on the West Shore, is starting to wind down a little bit, at least in terms of, you know, the potency of the snow or the burst of the snow. We saw that snow come down at a really good clip throughout the morning hours, and I'm seeing that here on First Warning Radar as well. You notice some of this banding, some of this blue shading indicating some heavier bands of snow. You folks in Lancaster County, York County, and in and around the capital region still dealing with a pretty heavy amount of snow. If you look off to the west, you start to see some of that blue shading. We put things into motion here. All of this motion is, you can see, moving from the southwest and off to the east. And we're starting to see these lighter colors work in on the western side of the radar, and that's encouraging, at least in terms of shutting down some of those heavier snowfall rates. But we still have a long way to go with this storm system. You can see all of the rain that we've got still off to our south and west, and just to our south, we're looking at that wintry mix. So cold enough right now that we're still talking about snow. This cold air has remained in place, and it has definitely been winning the battle. But as you see on our future radar, I think 2:30, 3 o'clock, we start to see that change over to sleet, and then eventually some freezing rain by about 5 o'clock this evening. And as we've been telling you, this entire system is actually going to exit overnight with some warmer air and just some plain old rain before everything shuts down very early tomorrow. So, here's what we can expect. We'll look for that changeover to happen after 2 o'clock this afternoon, but we could still pick up an additional 1 to 3 inches of snowfall on top of what we have out there right now. Remember, it's all about this warm air wedging in. As it does, that's when we get that changeover to sleet and then eventually some freezing rain. So it is going to be a bit of a wild ride for us here. Notice our temperature today is going to hover right around 32 degrees, periods of snow changing to sleet, then eventually some plain old rain. And then for us tonight, around 32, it stays dreary, cold, raw, but again, it's just plain rain. And then, nice warm up coming for us all the way up into the upper 40s tomorrow. Some rain showers over the weekend as we get it into the upper 50s.
And we've got another accident that's popped up on I-83 southbound, also causing some headaches right in this bottleneck area as you're approaching the York split right here. So it's on the southbound lanes, as I mentioned, right near Yoakumtown. There's also another accident that has just popped up right before I came on screen near the Fishing Creek exit. So please be very, very careful as you're heading on either the north or the southbound lanes on I-83. That's a look at your CBS 21 traffic alert.
All right, thank you. And we're closely monitoring road conditions all around our area. CBS 21's Karina Chung is with photographer Bill Siders driving around. And Karina, and she's been checking conditions for us all afternoon. And we're going to check in with Karina to find out what things are looking like where she is a little bit later. Well, if you do have to be out on the roads today, there are some things you'll want to keep in mind. The Wolf administration is reminding people to keep an emergency kit in your car. Clear your vehicle of all snow and ice before you hit the road. Remember, it's the law. And be alert while driving. You want to watch out for those plow trucks and stay at least 6 car lengths behind them. Well, we have a few hours to go before this sloppy storm wraps up. And we're going to be back right after this with one final check of the timing of this system. We're following this winter storm closely. In York County, crews are trekking through the snow to try to find a missing elderly man. CBS 21's Michael Gorsinger joins us live from Windsor Township with more on the search efforts. Michael.
Yeah, well, the search continues again for 61-year-old who went missing about 6:45 last night. We're going to give you an idea of a little bit of the gathering that's happening here. Obviously, there's numerous police and fire, different agencies, over 24 men and women out searching for this man that went missing. There is a frantic search, obviously, because the weather conditions making this search very, very difficult. Conditions are indeed getting worse. Visibility is low, and also the snow and cold is making it very difficult for these searchers. We are in the 1000 block of Locust Grove Road in Windsor Township, and as always, please say, if you happen to see the gentleman that went missing, we have a picture on our Facebook and Twitter pages to get an idea of who that man may be. You're urged to call police because he's been missing for the better part of about 17 hours, and as every minute goes on, obviously this search becomes more and more dire. Live in York County, Michael Gorsegner, CBS 21 News.
Well, we're all holding out for hope, Michael. Thank you. And to check things out in Cumberland County, we're going to go to CBS 21's Chris Nallen, live in Carlisle. Chris, how you doing?
Yes, Sherry, out here right now, the snow continues to fly, and we are talking about several inches of snow. I'm thinking about 6 inches here. But let me show you here. We're right by a truck stop here. Must be over 200 trucks there. People coming off the major roadways. All those truckers, again, heeding the PennDOT restrictions because of speed and also because of the weight of trucks, making it more dangerous for other drivers. I did want to show you right now. Look at all this snow. We're talking a good dose of snow, 5-6 inches right here. And this is right along the pike here, Harrisburg Pike. You can see the roads are pretty well snow covered. PennDOT's been through here treating those roads, and then up that way you can see the turnpike. So again, overall traffic has been moving well enough for the given situation, but again, heed those warnings, stay off the roads. You don't need to be out there. They are dangerous. And I'll ride from Harrisburg to here in Carlisle. Reporting live for you in Carlisle today, Chris Nallen, CBS 21 News.
Thank you, Chris. It's nice to see the folks behind him driving slowly,
Yes.
right?
And for those folks who just joined us earlier, Chris did like kind of a little quick little unofficial measurement, and he saw about 6 inches of snow in the Carlisle area.
Good
So
bit.
yeah, we've had some pretty heavy snowbands that have been coming through here throughout the morning, and that's going to continue at least for the next couple of hours. Pretty impressive snowfall rates. Now, this is all going to start to taper off from the southwest to the east, and then eventually during the afternoon, we'll change this over to some sleet and some freezing rain. It's all about the warmer air that's going to wedge in up above, and that's why we're going to get that changeover. Then eventually, plain rain overnight tonight. So we've been telling you we're going to get everything but the kitchen sink out of this storm, and that's what we're still looking at here over the next 24 hours or so. Now, I do think a lot of this will shut down pretty early tomorrow morning, and we should be okay. And we're actually going to enjoy a pretty nice warm up. So after 2 o'clock from southwest to east, the snow changing over to more of a wintry mix. Then eventually after 8 o'clock tonight, it'll just be plain rain. That'll start to melt some of this away overnight, and then it's all about the melting tomorrow. Notice where skies start to clear a little bit. We get into the upper 40s, mid 40s on Friday, and then another big push of warm air for the weekend, Ashley.
Well, listen, I-81 southbound has been just a mess this morning. 2 headaches right now on exit 44, the Plainfield exit, another crash at the King Street exit. We also just got word that I-81 southbound has been completely closed for about a stretch of 5 miles from the New Cumberland exit on down, just because conditions are that bad. So please do not go out if you don't have to. We see these exits all across our viewing area right now, and they are nasty. So please be careful.
And thanks for joining us for this special edition of CBS 21 News at noon. Our storm coverage will continue on CBS 21 News starting at 5 tonight, and you can get updates all the time on CBS21.com. Have a great day.